my name is Veelia, and in this video we're going to be going over the Heroic Garothi Worldbreaker fight in Antorus the Burning Throne. I hope you enjoy this video and make sure to give it a thumbs up if it helps you out. Let's begin. Like most of the other first bosses and raids, this boss is pretty simple. There are a few key mechanics for you to look out for as a Restoration Shaman on this encounter. The first will be Fell Bombardment, where the boss marks a tank with a 5-second debuff. After 5 seconds, the boss will hurl missiles at the tank, doing AoE damage and knocking anyone back who gets hit by them. Your tank will have to run away from the raid to avoid getting hit by these. The dot will do some damage, so make sure you pop a Riptide onto the tank as he runs out, as he might run out of your range when kiting. The next ability to look out for will be Decimation. This is when the boss puts a 5-second debuff on random members of the raid. These players will need to run out of the raid with the debuff because when it expires, a huge pool of Fel will form under the affected player that explodes after a few moments. You'll have enough time to run out, but make sure to Ghost Wolf immediately for the movement speed increase and the damage reduction. I also like to take Gust of Wind on this fight for this ability specifically, as there is little movement aside from this, so we don't really benefit greatly from Spirit Walker's Grace. Keep in mind that the raid will take a small amount of damage after these circles explode, so be sure to keep Healing Rain down at all times and Healing Stream on cooldown. Annihilation is the next ability to look out for on this fight. Basically, small circles will spawn randomly around the room. They need to be soaked by a player or they will explode and do a ton of damage to the raid. Typically we have players with immunities or big personals soak these. Just make sure that you watch these players as they will take a small amount of damage when soaking. At 65%, the boss will phase into the Apocalypse Drive phase. In this phase, he will do raid-wide AoE ticking damage to everyone. To end this phase, you'll need to focus down and kill one of his turrets. In this kill, you'll see that we chose the left turret and blasted it down pretty fast. Make sure that the range and the melee are fairly stacked so you can benefit from using Healing Rain and Gift of the Queen effectively. Surging Fel lines will also appear on the ground during this phase. They are large lines that spread out from the boss to the back of the raid. Make sure that you move left or right to avoid being caught in these as they do a ton of damage. Once the turret is dead, the boss will cast Eradication, which does a huge amount of AoE damage to the entire raid. Thankfully, the damage gets weaker the further you are away from the boss, so have the raid run to the back of the room and group up in your Healing Rain. This is also where I like to use Healing Tide Totem, so make sure that you coordinate with your other healers so you don't overlap on your important cooldowns. Next, the boss will reset back to phase 1 again with 2 new buffs, Empowered and Searing Barrage. Empowered increases the boss damage, so watch your tanks a little closer, and Searing Barrage does a small amount of ticking damage, so to continue to keep your AoE heals on cooldown. When he reaches 35%, he'll phase back into the Apocalypse Drive phase, where you'll have to kill the other turret and do the same mechanics as the first Apocalypse Drive phase, except with more damage this time. After the phase is over, the Surging Fel lines will continue until the end of the fight, and the Searing Barrage will become more potent. Do your best to keep your raid alive until the boss dies by making sure that they stack up in your Healing Rain and your Gift of the Queen, and use Ancestral Guidance when the raid starts to dip. That's about it for this fight. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like it. As always, you can expect guides like these for every heroic and mythic encounter in this raid tier, so make sure to subscribe for more guides like these in the future. Thanks again guys, and until next time, happy healing! Bye!